Hi, I'm Carla Torres, and we're here in the DCTV Temple Bar studio. We're here with Dean Scurry, the host from Journey of a Joke, and we're gonna ask him some questions about his involvement in the show and just catch up with him today.
Let's go.
Hi, Dean, how are you?
Very good.
All right, so can you tell us a little bit about Journey of a Joke and your role in the program?
Yeah, well, my role was to kind of work as a facilitator and bring, comedians from different cultural backgrounds together and explore their comedy, what makes them laugh, and does that comedy, work across cultures. So we had a couple of Africans, we had a lesbian, we had a traveller, we had an osteopath, and we mixed those guys up, and boom, now we have a great TV show.
Nice. So what was it like working with such a diverse group of comedians?
I thought it was going to be a bit more difficult, but a lot of the guys who their birthplace was outside of Ireland had been living here quite a while anyway, so there wasn't big cultural or kind of the language barriers weren't there. So one of the hardest guys actually to understand was an Irish guy. He was a traveller because he just spoke really fast like that. So yeah, but I think that they had been acclimatised to Dublin, so they understood what I was saying, I got what they were saying, and it was more about then seeing their jokes and their humour walk across cultures, and it did. There wasn't really any problem with that. I think once you make people laugh, that means your joke works.
True. So in the show, there was a lot of focusing on cultural stereotypes through comedic commentary. For example, the Word I Hate the Most segment. What would you say was the purpose of that segment for the participants?
So why I threw that in was just to piss people off, to challenge people a bit, and say what kind of word really gets to you. And people were saying whatever word really hurt them. If you watch the show, you'll see them. And then also, I find that a lot of comedy in this city is kind of white middle class guys. So I wanted these guys to explore that and see that a lot of the jokes that these guys, that the pros on the circuit now are doing, are about their cultures, or about their religion or their sexual orientation or whatever. So if you identify that, if you throw all those words out there, if you get people to say the words that they fear or that society tells them they can't do, get that done and dusted, and then let's crack on with the humour.
Okay. So throughout the show, the comedians underwent, quite a bit of transformation, but which one would you say, in your opinion, transformed the most?
Well, Fabu, naturally funny, so he didn't really change that much. Tabby, I think, wasn't, at the end, it's transpired that she wasn't really, into becoming a stand-up comedian. I think Dil is still doing some comedy. Sacha really came out of himself. He was a kind of quiet posh boy, osteopath kind of dude. So he's kind of come out of himself a bit more, although he was doing some improv comedy on the side. I think for me it was probably Thomas, who's realised that with a lot of hard work and effort and confidence, you can become a professional comedian, and I think that's the thing that he's trying to pursue. So I was really impressed with him. I don't think he was taking it serious up until that point, but I think since then he has been.
Throughout the workshops, what would you say, was there anything that really shocked you or surprised you, anything outrageous that happened?
I think one of the things that shocked me is that people didn't have bigger balls, and that they didn't push more and more and more, which is what I would try and do if I was in their position and I was doing some workshops in comedy. I'd try and push it right to the edge. Fabu kind of did when he had a bit of a back and forth with Dil about being lesbian and women being funny in comedy. That's probably the biggest drama that was caused. Or Thomas, not turning up to a couple of the workshops. But for me, there wasn't any big surprises other than they didn't push it even further.
So the show addresses a lot of issues from integration to social taboos. But what would you say you would want the audience to see as the overall message of the show?
That there are loads of different subsections, subcultures, subgroups, all living and breathing and walking around the streets in Dublin, and there's humour and a bit of crack and interest in that group of people, and that it's not just them and us and they're different and we don't want that to do with them. I think the objective, if people realise that there's people out there, and if you embrace them and you share a little bit about yourself, it'll just make this life a little bit more interesting.
That's great. So thank you so much for being here
No
with us
problem at
today.
all.
Make sure to catch Journey of a Joke on DCTV Tuesday nights at 9. You'll see Dean Scurry, you'll see the rest of the comedians. So thank you and have a good night.
The show was great, so make sure you tune in. DCTV 802.